Nigeria? When are you going to bring this solution to the Nigerian space? Because the moment you do that, you're tapped into an incredibly large market where, you know, the potential is simply immense. You know, so I think every business has got to try to figure out, you know, what is the size of the market that we're tapping, what is the size of the business opportunity, and using that as a way of justifying what you think the company is worth. I mean, at the end of the day, it's whatever someone is willing to pay for it. I think in an early stage, in a stage of where we are now, you'll see that are really keen to have investor support. So, to some extent, the first investors in this market will have an advantage, because, you know, like in Nairobi, when you get a term sheet from an investor, you're able to go and talk to 2 and 3 others. I mean, they'll say don't shop it around, but I mean, entrepreneurs are always looking for the best deal. In this market, how do you prevent that from happening? If one investor shows up, you know, that's kind of the deal that's on the table. You can't exactly turn around and, you know, go talk to 2 or 3 other guys. It's like, well, you know, this is what I'm offering you, take it or leave it. And I think that's where you as a community have to, you know, try to break open that conversation and work together to decide, hey, what do we think is kind of a healthy benchmark for how we want to do this? And work together to try and establish those norms, so that when investors are coming into the space, or local guys are starting to invest in local companies, you know, there's already kind of a guideline of you know, how things should be done. You know, I think that idea of an angel coming in, you know, maybe offering $25K for something between 10 and 20%. You know, that sounds pretty reasonable. But again, you know, they're going to say, what's your exit plan? What's the size of the market? And how do I know that, you know, the equity that I'm getting is actually worth the money?
The challenge that we also have in this country, and this is where the idea of having a hypercube made sense to us. You see, we've been working in silos, and that's part of the problem with our Zimbabwe. We've been working in silos. So you got that developer working at in their bedroom somewhere, and the idea of just coming here to work with other developers, just to network, just to, you know, put them in the same room. You know, it's amazing what happens when you do that. But I think what's happened is there's an entity that I know, I won't mention their name, but they received VC funding from the US, and they didn't want the deal made public. So we could have used that information. That could be valuable information, not for me and them and their business, you know, but that could be valuable information for us to benchmark each other and say, I think my business is bigger than that one.
Yeah. You know, I was going to say, actually, one of the things you guys should do is get a lawyer, you know, or a law firm, a legal firm, you know, to have a partnership with Hypercube, and somebody who, you know, hopefully has some, you know, experience in sort of the IT space, which I think is very hard to find. But, you know, if you can get somebody like that to kind of connect themselves to the community, you know, maybe they're offering their sort of expertise and knowledge for free in the beginning for anyone here, because at the end of the day, they also know that if your companies grow, you're going to require more and more legal support, at which point you also become a potential client. So for them, it's also about business. But it would be a way of, you know, making sure that you have that kind of representation, you know, for the local companies here. So you can go to somebody and you can say, look, this is my situation. You know, this is where we are in terms of developing the company. This is who the investor is. You know, can you help advise me?